Simply put, Yolanda, throughout your years of trustee service to Bank Street, you've brought strength and grace and humor to the work. The strength to keep us focused on progressing, on getting better at what we do. The grace to navigate a community of diverse, passionate perspectives. In case you guys didn't know, that's kind of a little bit of the temperature of Bank Street. It's a passionate place. But you've navigated that with empathy, respect, and consideration. And finally, you've brought the humor to keep us smiling as we work away, burdened by our consistently imperfect human natures. So it's been a pleasure to work with you these many years and a privilege to learn from you as a colleague.
Thank you.
And so now, as chair of the board, it gives me great pleasure to read this citation. Yolanda Ferrell-Brown. As a creative, caring, and indefatigable leader in philanthropy for education and the arts, you have always exemplified the social values and ideals of equity and excellence that Bank Street College promotes. As a board member of the Apollo Theater, you continue to be instrumental in keeping alive and vibrant one of America's most iconic cultural institutions. As a Bank Street trustee, you bring wisdom, warmth, energy, and grace to our efforts to carry out the college's vision of quality education for all children in America. As a parent, you have lived the Bank Street approach to teaching and learning and been inspired by the benefits it provided for Alexandra and Zach, two wonderful graduates of the School for Children whose accomplishments reflect the commitment to service that you and Alvin uphold. Together with the entire Bank Street community, your colleagues on the Board of Trustees express their affection, admiration, and gratitude to you for 2 decades of exceptional leadership. Selecting a gift for Yolanda is a daunting task, but I think we've made an excellent and very personal choice. Yolanda, we are delighted to present you with this Tiffany glass bowl, which will appear in my hands momentarily, engraved with your name and today's event and date, and containing a personal note from your colleagues on the board, from each of your colleagues on the board. Voila. Here you are.
Hello, everyone. It does feel like being at home with so many longtime friends here. Thank you all for your kind words. I really appreciate it. I am deeply touched by this honor and would like to thank my fellow trustees for their recognition and my dear friends for their comments. Our board is comprised of some of the most dedicated, caring, and passionate advocates for progressive education that I have ever met, and serving with you over the past 20 years has really enriched my life. I must admit that the whole notion of being honored is a bit foreign and uncomfortable to me, especially since it is I who feel such a tremendous debt of gratitude toward Bank Street. My first introduction to the college occurred through the School for Children more than 30 years ago, long before I was married or had children. George Scaria, now trustee emeritus, was at the time treasurer of ITT Corporation and a Bank Street parent and trustee. He would periodically cajole his bankers, of which I was one, into attending fundraising events at the college. Of course, I rather dreaded the idea, but viewed it as a business obligation that at least began with cocktails and hors d'oeuvres, so I attended. This particular evening featured a panel discussion with 8th grade students from the School for Children. By the end of the discussion, I was regretting that I had missed out on a Bank Street education and was left wondering what I might have become if I had had one. I was completely blown away by these kids, their critical thinking skills, their intellectual curiosity, their genuine love of learning, their self-assuredness and ease in expressing and discussing controversial points of view. But above all, I was impressed that their ideas were deeply rooted in a sense of social justice and respect for community values. I decided that night that whenever I did have children, they would attend Bank Street. Teachers were obviously creating magic in their classrooms. Many years later, Bank Street would in fact become our family's second home, and both our children graduated from the School for Children. Alvin and I learned how to become parents inside Bank Street's walls, and more importantly, over time, I came to know, and I don't mean know as in understand, I mean know in that deeper, cellular way that only rich, meaningful experience and observation can create, often referred to as experiential learning at Bank Street. I came to know in this way how uniquely special a Bank Street-educated teacher is. Their classrooms can be distinguished from all others. They skillfully master their craft because they are armed with larger, better equipped toolboxes. As John Snyder, Dean of the College, likes to refer to their developmentally appropriate tools that they use to actively engage children in learning. Witnessing the powerful impact a Bank Street trained teacher can have on a student has fueled my passion for the institution for all these years, and I'm sure will for years to come. So it is I who would like to express my gratitude to the entire Bank Street faculty and staff for so elegantly and artfully preparing gifted teachers who have not only educated my children, but countless others in classrooms around the country. You have been charged with developing our greatest resources, our children, and I salute you for a job well done. And if you would indulge me, I'd like to have all the members of the Bank Street faculty and staff stand so we can give you a round of applause. Thank you for the work you do day in and day out, and thank you all for supporting Bank Street tonight and for sharing this celebration with me. Thank you.